created using Powtoon. sense of direction, and I'm needing some strength and protection. Walking away with you, I go walking away with you. And when I'm faced with a tricky temptation, I abandon the whole situation. Walking away with you, I go walking away with you. Oh, what a fail-safe plan, just walking hand in hand. And I go walking away with you. If I didn't have you to turn everything to, then where would I turn? Have never been more than a single breath away. I have never felt so much security knowing you're with me. And I'm so glad to find the reason that I'm happy, sad, since you tore it all away. And I'm so glad, though it hurts to know I'm leaving everything I ever thought that I would be. Once I held it in my hand, it was a kingdom made of sand. Then you blew it all away. I can't believe that I can say that I'm glad. Take my life, a living sacrifice, knowing it's the least that I can do. Make my life a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to you. On the cross you took our place, but we don't deserve your grace. We want to praise you in every way we can. But you didn't walk away, you didn't have to say I love you, but you love me just the same. Oh, you didn't have to try, you didn't have to die to save me, but you saved me just the same. Waited so long, but I knew all along that I needed you. It took me some years and some pain and some tears, but you pulled me through. Waited so long, but I knew all along I needed you in my heart. And I wonder why I didn't love you from the start. It's a miracle, it's a miracle, it's a miracle happened today. It's a miracle, it's a miracle, the stone and he rolled it away. I've been walking on a cloud, I never had so much reason to be proud. I couldn't be any higher than I am, don't ever want down from your love. I've been walking on a cloud, I never
Hello folks, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I just want to share my story with my situation back in 1981 in the United States Marine Corps. I was sitting in a chapel during boot camp, and a chaplain tapped me on the shoulder and asked me to come into his quiet room. As I was walking into his quiet room, I had no idea what he wanted from me. It was then that God was setting my life in motion. So the chaplain sat me down and he says, Ralph, I've noticed that you like to help people, you motivate people, you're always walking around with a smile. And I wanted to know, this is the chaplain saying this to me, I wanted to know, Ralph, would you like to volunteer and become a lay leader? And of course, I had no idea what a lay leader was. So he explained to me what a lay leader was. It's somebody that is a liaison between the recruits and the chaplain. So when the recruits have issues, problems, or anything like that, they go to the lay leader, and they go to the chaplain as the lay leader to let the chaplain know of the situations that are happening. It was then in 1981 that God already had a plan for me, and what when there from that point on was that God realized that no matter how long it would take for me to achieve what God already knew what was going to happen to me, He would let me go down into the worst extremes in life. So from 1981 as a lay leader, and I'm going to show you the medal now with a lay leader, the front and the back. This is the back of the medal, and then the front looks like this. So in 1981, at Paris Island, South Carolina, when I became a lay leader, God already had my life set in motion. But again, He wanted me to set my own course in life. So I went down the years and the course of my life, and did some of the worst things possible to my own body through alcoholism. God already said to Himself, well, I'm going to wait for Ralph to get close to hitting rock bottom. So from 1981 until 2011, which is 30 years, God came to me again and He said, Ralph, are you ready to continue helping other people? That's when I formed Mastic Beach Outreach 2011, and what that was is for older people and mentally and physically challenged people, that my wife and I would help them by giving them clothing, food, possibly, like in one case, tires for someone's car. And so God said, okay, he is getting better, but he's still not ready to do what I really wanted him to do. So in 2011, I continued my alcoholism to the point of 10 to 15 shots a day. As time went further, 2 years down the road, it became worse and worse with my alcoholism. In 2013, God finally put His big hand on my head and says, are you ready now? That is when I hit rock bottom. June 22nd, 2013, I reached out and I finally admit that I had an alcohol problem. It was then when God lifted me up and set my life in motion for today, September 2nd, 2014. So from 2013 until 2014, I continue educating myself and you, others, through my websites, through my videos on how to battle with addiction. And God saw this, and He said to Himself, Ralph is still continuing helping people. So in between 2013 and 2014, as time was going by, and I proved to God that I was really reforming myself, that God introduced me to Dr. Luis Gonzalez. I had been toying with the idea about becoming a substance abuse counselor until I ran into an article about recovery coaching. So I thought it was very ironic that God had planted Dr. Luis Gonzalez from Starting Point, that's StartingPointMN.com, 844-414-8444, into my life. Dr. Luis Gonzalez gave me the educational programming to turn me into a recovery coach. So while I was training for Dr. Luis Gonzalez to become a recovery coach, and today, my father comes from South Carolina to visit, and we're looking at my shrine, which my wife calls a shrine, which is all my Marine Corps ribbons and medals. And my father asked me, Ralph, what is this medal for? What is this particular medal for? And I then said to myself, here's where it all came together. I finally realized what that medal stood for and how it influenced me in my life. It was back in 1981 that God knew already that I would eventually, towards the middle or 60% of my life, be out to help other people, to continuously help people, to motivate people, to coach people. So it was from 1981 to 2011 that I ran my life to the ragged ends, to the pit of the worst. And then from 2011 to 2013, even worse than that. And then June 22nd, 2013, finally helped myself up with the grace of God. And in 2014 became an addiction recovery coach. And all that epiphany came to me due to my father asking me what this stood for. This particular silver medal. When he asked me that, it all finally came together, that God had bigger and better plans for me. And this is what I'm telling you, folks. There is a plan for you. No matter what the plan might be, you don't know what it is, but there is a plan for you. It's just a matter of you figuring it out. So why don't you let me help take your life back? Thank you. God bless you, and have a sober day. Good morning and welcome to Take Your Life Back. Today is September 4th. It's about 3:30 in the morning. I just want to share with everyone something this morning. I saw a demonstration maybe about a month ago in reference to our dark side and the power of prayer. If you continuously pray over and over and over again, things will eventually become clear. Although a lot of times when we pray to God, we don't get answers right away. But if you continuously pray over and over, things become clear. So the demonstration involves this bottle, and if you see, the inside of this bottle is all dark liquid. That represents our dark side. And this cap represents our limitations. So we as a human, which is the bottle, have limitations, which is this cap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this bottle into the sink, and we're going to do a demonstration. So let me put that there. I'm going to turn the camera around so that everybody can see it. And hopefully you folks can all see it now. Okay, so you see the bottle. I'm going to turn the water on. Okay, so now everything inside is dark, which represents our body and our inside. And what I'm going to do, and this clear water represents our prayer. So you see the continuous water running. I'm going to now, as the prayer, as we're praying, I'm going to lift our limitations, which is the cap. And we're going to slowly add our prayer to this. We all go through dark times. I mean, I've had some dark years. I just didn't understand everything that was happening. I'm going to admit it that I'm not a super patient person. I tend to want answers right away and know what's happening and what I can do to solve it. I don't like not being happy and confident about things. It's just not who I am. But when I get down, it takes a lot for me to get back up. If we pray for a sign, which is this, the water is prayer, but just give up because we feel like God's already heard our prayer and He knows what we need, but He hasn't answered. It's kind of like when we were kids in the toy store and we kept asking our mom and dad for toys, but we never got any results. Yeah, it never worked for me either, but you get what I mean. Anyway, that is exactly what's happened to me in the past years. I have prayed and prayed and prayed, but haven't really gotten any results. The answer I thought God would give me, and especially in the time of frame, I thought my problems would be fixed, which was all before 2013. Then in 2013, my cap of limitations was lifted. This is the cap, remember this now, was lifted off the bottle, which is my body. Here is where I will just show you how that worked for me. So basically we all have dark sides, which is what's in the bottle, was in the bottle. We are facing, and we take the limitations off our mind, which was the cap I lifted. Don't limit what He can do, because we have to just trust in the Lord. That sometimes even after we pray and we just give up, and it is often why we get defeated. However, even though nothing has really changed, we just keep praying. That's the prayer, the sign of the prayer, the flowing Lord. Just keep praying and never ever give up praying. And if we do that and devote ourselves completely to the Lord, He will pull us through. The dark times will go away, and we just have to be patient. I know it's hard. Being patient truly is a virtue. But by never ever giving up on prayer, it's going to show you that God will eventually answer all your prayer. And the more we pray, which is this water going into the bottle, one day everything will become clear. You see how clear this is now? That is the power of prayer. Folks, I think that demonstration says it all. If we had a bottle which represents our body, and the bottle, everything was dark on the inside, and the water coming out of the faucet represents the prayer, day after day after day, just keeps adding to the darkness which was in the bottle. Eventually, all that prayer has to turn what was dark inside this bottle, which is our body, has to change and become as clear as this water in here. That, folks, is the power of prayer. Good morning and welcome to Take Your Life Back Today show with Ralf Friedrichs. Today we're going to talk about the 7 stages of crack cocaine use. We are going to talk about the first stage, which is between 1 to 3 hours, and then fast forward and walk through each and every stage all the way down to the 35 days plus. These are the 7 stages of crack cocaine use. First, as always, I want to give a shout out to Dr. Luis Gonzalez from StartingPointMN.com. Dr. Gonzalez has a few entities to his business. First and foremost is he will help you from your addiction to your recovery. He will walk with you hand in hand 24 hours at a time, day by day. He will never ever talk about your past. It is not a good idea to bring up a past for someone that is fragile already. That might be you. You don't want to know about your past because you have already lived it and it was terrible and you don't even want to think about it. Hopefully you learn from your past, but with Dr. Luis Gonzalez from StartingPointMN.com, you will walk today and worry about today only and then look into the future. You can call me at 844-414-8444. You can go to www.startingpointmn.com. Dr. Luis Gonzalez from StartingPointMN.com. Also, on the other side of his business, he can turn you, yes you, into an addiction recovery coach. If you have passion, professionalism, and a personality, and you have an addiction background, whether it's your own or maybe helping a friend or a loved one, call him at 844-414-8444. That's Dr. Luis Gonzalez from StartingPointMN.com. Want to also talk about your eyeglasses, which are so important now that the spring is showing up and the summer is coming. You need to protect your eyes not only from the sun but from UV. You want to be able to read the small print in the newspaper. You want to be able to go to the movies and see clearly. Well, I have the answer. If you go to globaleyeglasses.com, they are focused on saving you money. They have frames that start as low as $6 and go up to $49. Those frames include standard plastic single vision non-coated lenses, a cloth, and a case, all for that price. If you need progressives, they have them. If you need line bifocals, they have them. If you need transitions, ones that go change from indoor to outdoor, they have them. They have photochromatics. They have polarized for you skiers and your water buffs out there that like to go fishing. They can make your lens from this thick to about 30% thinner, 25 to 30% thinner. This is all at globaleyeglasses.com, where they are focused on saving you money. Here is the great news. I have been in the optometry field for over 30 years, and I know Global Eyeglasses very well, so if you text me, like so many of you have done already, at 631-599-0218, or you can call me at 844-405-HELP, I will walk with you, like I've done for so many, through the ordering process. I will make sure that you have the right frame for the right fit for the right you. I will make sure that your measurements are according to what they need to be, and I will also make sure that you are ordering something that is going to work for you in the best ability. Go to globaleyeglasses.com, where they are focused on saving you money. Please, folks, go to my website, www.takeyourlifebacktoday show, or www.clearviews.info, or www.clearreform.com. Let me break those 3 websites down for you. Take Your Life Back Today show is about this show. It's about the videos, the segments, the episodes that I publish each and every day, except for Thursdays and Fridays. I will make sure that I update my website daily with the new show. So go to www.takeyourlifebacktoday's show for all the information about the show. Now, www.clearviews.info is exactly what the last four letters stand for. Info. It's information on addiction, information on recovery. I will help you with all the information on my website to be help you to get the latest information on drug and alcohol addiction, about the epidemic here in the States and also globally. Now, if you want to go to www.clearreform.com, that is my addiction recovery coaching website. If you need some sort of coaching, you need somebody to talk to, you need somebody to lift you up, you need somebody to motivate you, go to www.clearreform.com. Clear Reform stands for Community Lessons Empower Addiction Recovery, and reform means for me to help you transform going from your addiction to your recovery. Get in touch with me at 844-405-HELP. 7 stages of crack cocaine use. There are 7 different stages. Number 1 on my list is between 1 to 3 hours after last use. Now, remind you, the key words on all these is after last use. I call this the panic stage. During this phase, money for more is prime concern for the user. He is now worried, okay, I took it. What am I going to do for my next fix? In this phase, a person will look for anything to sell, to pawn, to steal, to borrow. This is the panic stage. Almost like, oh my God, I just used, now I have none left. Where am I getting the new one, the new stash from? That is called the panic stage. Number 2 on my list is the crash stage. This happens from 3 to 24 hours after last use. Depression, remorse, suicidal, all comes into play here. This is where the serotonin is necessary for sleep, but they have depleted, and it's difficult at first to go to sleep, so the person starts overthinking in bed, starts thinking about all the different things possible that's negative. And it is very difficult for them to go to sleep because the chemical called serotonin is depleted due to the drug use. This happens between 3 and 24 hours after the last use. Number 4 on my list is the honeymoon stage. This is between 1 day to 5 days of last use. After feeling good, the craving is not that noticeable. Drugs are wearing off, so you're like, I got this. I beat this. I am good. I felt good. It's you and me, chemical. It's our honeymoon. Well, don't get too used to it, folks, because the next stage, number 4, is return of the craving. This happens between 5 days to 14 days after the last use. And remind you, each and every one is after the last use. A great drug hunger, depression, anger, the body wants drugs again. Now this might coincide with the panic stage because now you don't have the money, you don't know where to get your next fix from. This is called the return of the craving. This is number 4. Let's jump into number 5 on my list. Emotional augmentation. This happens between 14 to 28 days after the last use. You will be over response to stress. Anything might trigger you off. Events, some sort of maybe appointments that you're not keeping, your lifestyle. You will start feeling moody. Things will trigger you off. This is a critical stage. This is a stage where you might go back into using crack and cocaine. Number 6 is covert cravings. This happens between 28 days all the way to 35 days after last use. This secrets, bad judgments, craving not as strong as they usually are. Basis but not. One may have periodically strong cravings and want to admit it for various reasons. Let me read that again. Covert cravings is between 28 and 35 days after the last use. You will start having secrets. You will make bad judgments. Craving not as strong as regular. Basis, but one may periodically strong craving and not want to admit it for various reasons. There will be like a flat line where the cravings aren't as bad, but then suddenly that one strong feeling, but you're not going to admit it, which leads me to number 7. Number 7 is cue conditions. This is 35 days and further down the road, so after the last use. Referred to as triggers, which was what we just spoke about in number 6. Could be money, anger, disappointment, music, film, extreme joy. Anything associated with using can become a trigger. You will find anything, any excuse to say, this is why I went back to doing crack and cocaine. It was because I didn't like the music. I didn't like the film. I don't know where I'm going to get my next dollar to pay my bills. My job is not good. You will come up with each and any excuse that is out there possible. Folks, sober today, you have to realize will definitely make it better tomorrow. And if you think positive, folks, positive things will happen in your life. And remember, for big changes to happen, you have to take small steps. It is so crucial that you take those small steps. I used this as an example just recently. The best way, without having to swim, to get to the other side of the river is by throwing stone after stone after stone into the water, and then you will use those stones as stepping stones to get to the other side. That accomplishment to get to the other side of that river will be done with all the small stepping stones. So big changes only come with small steps. Folks, if the 7 stages of crack and cocaine use does not give you a reason to maybe possibly think about not doing anymore, I realize that each and every step has each and every meaning. Most of the people that do crack and coke would probably love to go from panic stage all the way down to cue conditions right away, because they don't want to have to deal with all the effects. But the effects are so important, the stages, and we're going to discuss them one more time. The panic stage happens 1 to 3 hours after the last use. During this phase, money for more is a primary concern. In this phase, a person will look for anything to sell, anything to pawn, anything to borrow, and anything to steal. It is crucial that if you know someone that's in this, and they you know that they just finished using drugs within 1 to 3 hours, that you possibly try to coach them not to get into all this selling, pawning, stealing, and borrowing, because that will also go to number 2. After 3 to 24 hours of last use of crack and cocaine, depression will set in, remorse will set in, suicidal thoughts will set in. The reason is brain is desperate need of fresh chemicals, and the serotonin necessary for sleep is not there. So the person is laying in bed overthinking, thinking about, why did I do this? Thinking about, I've had it with life, what do I do? These are suicidal, remorse feelings, desperate things, because their serotonin chemical in their brain is not there due to all the drugs they've used, and they're not getting the sleep that they need. That goes right to number 3, which is the honeymoon stage. 1 to 5 days after the last use, feeling good. The craving is not as noticeable, and the drugs are wearing off, and you're like, oh, that was great. See, nothing happens when I do drug and crack coke. I mean, coke and crack cocaine. That's what people start feeling, and that is called the honeymoon stage. Then 5 to 14 days after the last use is called the return of the craving. This is where all the cycle begins all over again. After the last use, 5 to 14 days later, a great drug hunger, you will have depression, you will be angry, the body wants drugs again, and you'll do anything to get it. Then we go right to number 5, which is emotional augmentation. This happens between 14 to 28 days after the last use. You will be over-responsive to any stress, events, lifestyle, money issues, relationship issues. Anything will possibly trigger you off to relapse. Then we go into number 6, which is called the covert craving. This happens from the last use between 28 days to 35 days. You will start keeping secrets. You will make bad judgments. Your craving not as strong as regular basis, but one will have one strong desire as a craving for crack and cocaine, and you will do anything not to admit it to anyone, but you will possibly use it. This is the covert craving, and it's very important that if you do have that craving, that astronomical craving, that you do something about it. If you're in fact watching my video because you want to change in life, because you want to make a difference in your own life. Last on my list again is Q conditions. 35 days and beyond after the last use, referred to as the trigger condition, the trigger stage. It could be that you need more money. It could be that you're angry. It could be that you're disappointed because you went to a music concert and you didn't like the music, so you felt, oh, well, this just set me over the edge. Or you went to the movies and you didn't enjoy the movie. Oh, this set me over the edge. It could also be lack of joy of anything in your life. It could be relationship issues. All these become Q conditions which can and probably will set you off. So why not eliminate all these 7 stages? Why not get rid of the panic stage 1 to 3 hours after last use? Why not get rid of the crash stage 3 to 24 hours after last use? Why not go and get rid of the honeymoon stage 1 to 5 days after last use? Why not go through get rid of return to craving stage 5 to 14 days after last use? Why not go through get rid of the emotional augmentation stage 14 to 28 days after last use? Why not get rid of the covert craving stage 28 to 35 days after last use? And why not go get rid of Q conditions, otherwise known as the trigger stages, 35 days and beyond? Why not do that today? Why not take your life back today? Folks, it is so important that one thinks about anytime he or she does alcohol, anytime he or she does drug abuse. Because it certainly, most definitely, no matter what, not to sugarcoat any which way, it will kill you. Eventually it will kill you. It will kill your liver, it will kill your heart, it will destroy your kidneys, it will destroy your life, it might even destroy an innocent person's life, it might even destroy your family. Why in the world would you not want to take your life back today? And if you're sitting there and you're saying to me, well, Ralph, how do I take my life back? Well, listen here. I have good news for you because it is so simple. 2 things have to happen for you to start looking for change. 2 things have to happen for you to make big changes with the small steps. Part of those 2 small steps are these 2 things. The first and foremost, you as the person need to stop denying you have a problem. Admit to yourself, I have a problem. As I sit here humbly before you, no matter how sober I've been for a couple of years, I humbly sit and tell you I am still an alcoholic and I still have cravings. However, I have learned to live with it. I am not denying the fact that I am an alcoholic. Most people will not even admit to it because they're too embarrassed, but I am so proud that I am able to live with it. I am able to tell my millions in my audience that I am an alcoholic. The good news here is that I spend hour after hour, day after day, week after week, year after year, to make sure that you are aware that I am a real human with a real story just like you, that there is no shame in admitting you have a problem. If anything, people around you that know you have a problem will congratulate you on making that first step. So now, stop denying you have admitted it, but you need to also reach for God. You need for your higher power to guide, to direct, to counsel you indirectly. Folks, I use this example all the time because it's a really good example. Your body is like a ship. Your mind is the captain of your own ship. Would any captain take their body, or would any captain take their ship into any rough ocean without certainly having in the instrument panel having a navigator? Well, if your life has come to a point where you're abusing drugs and alcohol, your navigation system is broken, folks. It is plain and simple. You have no navigation. Your ship is out in a rough ocean going in one big circle, and it's ready to sink to the bottom of that ocean unless you reach for your higher power unless you ask God for guidance and direction. Let God be your navigator. Let God take your ship, your body, your mind, your captain to the rough ocean and give you smooth sailing for the rest of your life. It is not reaching for God just for addiction issues. It's reaching for God for guidance and direction with your relationships, with your money issues, with your children, raising your children, with being the proper role model. God should be part of your life daily. And it is so simple to just ask God for guidance. Ask God for direction. Ask God to forgive you for anything that you might have done in your past, which we will not talk about, because today is a new day. Let today be the new day of the rest of your life. When you have finally admitted you have a problem and you have reached for God for guidance and direction, seek out a professional organization such as AA, a rehab, a treatment center. There are so many thousands of situations or organizations that can help you. I can help you as an addiction recovery coach. Dr. Luis Gonzalez from StartingPointMN.com can help you as an addiction recovery coach. If you have some issues where you think you need counseling and therapists, even as an addiction recovery coach, I can work with you at the same time as you're seeing a therapist and a counselor. Because those people might want to talk to you about your past if you want to, and maybe bring to the surface some issues that you might have from the past. My job as an addiction recovery coach is to help you with questions you have, but you already have the answers somewhere. It's stuck inside you, to lift them to the surface, to bring them up, to show you, to motivate you, to tell you, to guide you for a better today and a better tomorrow. My job as an addiction recovery coach is to help you take your life back. To take your life back like I took my life back. I took my life back to from the bottom of a bottle of vodka. And here I sit, humbly before you, to tell you there is hope for each and every one of us. But it takes you to make that decision. Let God guide and direct you through your substance abuse, through your alcoholism, through your family life. Let God guide and direct you and make you not only a better person for yourself, but a better role model. Let God show you not to smoke, not to drink, not to physically abuse, and not to verbally abuse anyone in your household or anyone in life itself. Let God show you that there is a thing called love for fellow man. There's a thing called respecting each other. There's a thing called compassion, and there's a thing called emotion. Most alcoholics don't have emotions until after they drink and the alcohol is wearing off, and the same applies to the stages of crack and cocaine. If you go right down to number 5, emotional augmentation. Emotional augmentation is where the mood swings set in, because now the drug has worn off. It is wearing off. And now you are starting to feel remorse. You're starting to feel upset. You're starting to feel, oh my God, what did I do? But yet, you won't admit it, but the craving is there. And the craving is coming back, so you need to do something, and you need to do it now, folks. Folks, it is so simple to reach up to God. You got to remember, God allows you each and every morning when you wake up to live on this beautiful earth. Although here in the Hamptons it's snowing once again, but still, I'd rather see the snow and be alive and be sober than the alternative. Tonight, when you go to bed, when you take your sneaker shoes or slippers off, folks, I ask you to do this one thing. I ask you not to just put it by the edge of your bed, but I ask you all in my audience to push it under you. Push them under your bed. You might ask me why. The reason is because tomorrow morning when you wake up and you put those slippers, sneakers or shoes on, you will be forced to go kneel down in front of your bed to get those slipper shoes and slippers. When you're on your knees, folks, I ask you to pray to God and thank God that He is allowing you to live another day on this beautiful earth. He's allowing you to breathe. He's allowing you to blink. Because as you breathe, wherever you might be right now, and as I breathe while I'm sitting here in front of the camera, there is someone, whether it's locally, statewide, nationwide, or globally, There's not just someone, but there are some people taking their last breath. There are some people closing their eyes for the last time. Did those people have the opportunity for change? Or were those people the ones that might be like you, saying, I will change, but tomorrow? Because folks, I'm sitting here and I'm telling you, we are not all guaranteed a tomorrow. You see it all the time in the news. You hear about it all the time on the radio. Where people that got up in the morning, shaved, combed their hair, put lipstick on, 3 hours later they were dead. For whatever reason. It could have been an act of Mother Nature. Could have been a crime committed by a perp. No matter what the reason, they might have never, ever had the chance for change. That's why it's very important that you make that change today. Do it today. Don't let another day go by without change. The 7 stages of crack and cocaine use. You have the panic stage, you have the crash stage, you have the honeymoon stage, you have the return to craving stage, you have the emotional augmentation stage, you have the covert craving stage, and you have the cue condition stage. Folks, the panic stage, they start at 1 hour to 3 hours. The crash stage from 3 to 24 hours. The honeymoon stage from 1 to 5 days. The return to craving from 5 to 14 days. The emotion augmentation from 14 to 28 days. The covert cravings from 28 to 35 days. And the cue conditions from 35 days and up. These are the 7 stages of crack cocaine use. Folks, remember that a sober today, I guarantee you, makes a better tomorrow, gives you a better tomorrow, gives you a better chance at a great tomorrow. And if you think positive, folks, positive things will happen in your life, I promise you. Stay away from negativity. Negativity brings you down, does not help you with your self-esteem, but positive people, positive thoughts will build up your self-esteem, will give you positive results. Big changes only happen with small steps. Don't expect a change by a sheer leap. Take the small steps to make the big changes. Reach out to me at 844-405-HELP. Text me at 631-599-0218. Or you can also get in touch with Dr. Luis Gonzalez from StartingPointMN.com at 844-414. 8444. That's 844-414-8444. Let Dr. Luis Gonzalez or myself help take your life back. Folks, have a great day. More importantly, please have a sober day, and may God bless you.